Resta scream vese azantes. Welcome, video lovers. Welcome to TacNerd 1.0. Fellow humans, something of something of an odd category for videos today. What we're going to be looking at is reforming or refurbishing or magazines, basically, and talked about this a little bit before, especially when when we got these. And I'll show you what these look like when I got them. Now, these are 40s. Of course, when we tested them, they were pinned to 10 rounds, so they were YouTube compatible. But these were 40s, but they were. I got these in a auction, and I'll show you some pictures. You can go back and watch that video, but they were pretty bad off, and you can see even still. You can see some of the rust. It was really, really bad. And there's still some pitting, some pretty serious pitting on this one. Now, this is a Mini 14 magazine. Never did exactly find out who made this. There's no markings on it. Somebody on the previous video did say, don't remember the name offhand, he said. I assumed that this was Pro Mag. He said it was maybe something else. I don't know if that's it or not. Now this one, this is an AR mag, and it just says Colt on the bottom, Colt AR-15. Pretty sure it's not an actual Colt magazine. I think I did have somebody comment on this one also, and they had mentioned who made it. But I want to talk something a little bit about, reforming or refurbishing these magazines and bringing them back to something that's somewhat more usable. So as far as rust and such like that goes, I think the easiest thing that I found was, now I tried just regular sanding them down. I tried using a grinding wheel, a brush. Nothing really worked. What I really ended up with is just sandblasting them. That really worked the best. Was just sandblasting them. It got rid of all the old finish. Got rid of most of the surface rust that was still there, and gave it really a more even finish. And you can see on this one, it's actually really turned out well. And this one too, this side of it anyways, turned out very well. So just sandblasted them, and you don't really need a whole lot for something like that. I just got one of those cheap soda blasters from Harbor Freight. If you are going to use sand, by the way, you do have to sift it to make sure none of that larger particulate is in there. But it's pretty easy. You can get a sifter from, like Walmart or something like that, Amazon, whatever. And other than that, it's pretty simple. Now, you do need a fairly decently powered compressor. You can try one of the smaller ones and it will work. It's just that you have to keep the PSI up to around anywhere from 90 to 100 to keep it viable. And it's on those smaller ones, it's going to drop below that pretty quickly. So I would suggest just, saving the pain and just buy a decent compressor and go from there. But other than that, you don't really need much else other than that to do something like that. And other than that, the only other thing I did after that was I just blued them. I used the Birchwood Casey blue paste and just spread it on with a cloth. It gave it a nice even coat, and they look pretty nice. Now, there's some coloration on some parts of these. I would advise oiling them after you get them blued. But other than that, they turned out pretty nice looking. Now, as far as how they worked, I'll roll in some footage of this Mini 14 magazine. We did test this at the range. Again, when it was at the range, it was pinned to 10 rounds to comply with YouTube policies. But this one actually worked fine. I've got an upcoming video on Mini 14 magazines and some myths about those. I had a wide selection of non-Ruger magazines, and I will tell you, at least I don't want to give away the goat here, but at least from what I found, there is some myths about Mini 14 magazines. We'll just leave it at that. But basically, folks, that's about it. The other thing I will tell you that I did do, now I couldn't find springs for either of these because they're odd number and odd manufacturer, but the springs were in pretty good shape. The one thing I did do is I did replace the followers in both of them. This one I did replace the follower in. You can buy Mini 14 followers. They're not too bad. You can buy springs too, but this one, again, it wouldn't fit because of the capacity. And then this one, being that it's an AR magazine, you can just get the magful followers. And it worked fine. I was a little concerned if it would be able to make that turn because the magpul followers are they're a little long, but so far I really haven't had any issue with it. Now, because the magazine is larger, I don't know if it's going to keep that same capacity as the other one did, but we'll find out. But anyways, other than that, it seems to have worked out very well. I haven't had any issue with that one as well. So if you do find these magazines at sales or auctions or whatever, or if you've got a buddy who just doesn't want them and they haven't been taken care of, don't fret. Don't just toss them assuming that they're no good. You can save them basically. And the process is not too bad, and especially for something like Mini 14 magazines, which are hard to come by, it can be pretty valuable. Because as any Mini 14 owner can tell you, the price for magazines can kind of hurt. And if you can get them at a reduced price and they work well, all the better. So that is about it, folks. That's all we have. This is a fairly quick video. I hope that you got something from this. And as I said, I will float in a little bit of shooting footage for at least the Mini 14 magazine, and you can see that operating. All right, folks, that's it for me. That's TacNerd. Remember to, if you have any comments, questions, or suggestions, please put them down here in the doobly-doo. As we do, stay alert, stay spicy. Remember, in the apocalypse, TacNerd is your friend. Signing out.
Welcome to TacNerd 1.0. I hope you liked the video, and remember to like, share, subscribe, and let us know what you think by making a comment below.